All right, good afternoon. Welcome to today's Zaleski Sports Show. My name's Jason, this is Dan, and we're going to take you through the last, we talked to you last a week ago. We were on location up at Three Amigos a week ago. We've got a big playoff schedule coming. It all starts tomorrow at 7 o'clock. We have some boys scores to give you from Tuesday. The playoff field is now all the way filled in as far as matchups are concerned for Friday on the boys' side. And we lost, over half of our girls since we talked last week.
More than half. Probably.
Yeah, sad. That's what we got coming up on today's show.
Yeah, it's all yours, and it's all now.
All right, and we're back.
And we're back.
And we're back. Where do you want to start, Dan? Girls or boys? Probably girls?
Oh, let's do girls. Yeah.
Okay. We've lost a lot of our friends on the girls' side. You and I talked about this last week. We were pretty excited last week up
You say goodbye.
Up in Marathon.
Yeah.
Because we just had our first round of girls basketball playoffs, and that's very exciting.
Yeah.
And since then, it's still been exciting, but a lot of these teams are done. Congratulations to all the seniors out there that have participated in their last organized basketball game.
Sad. It's really sad. A lot of tears on both sides. Like you're crying because you bring home some hardware. You're crying because your career is essentially over. It's a very emotional time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to single out the girls because the boys also feel the same way.
Yeah.
But boys don't generally cry when they win, or when you make a half-court shot, which we've seen this year.
Not always. Not always. Not outwardly. Maybe inside. Crying on the inside.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's
social norms and all that.
Yeah. Pressures and things like that. Let's start in Division 1. We'll tell you the teams that are left that are on the sides of the bracket that we're normally involved in. If you want any of these brackets, wiaawi.org. I'm reading right from the association website here. This is not secret information. It's free.
It is not.
And it's free.
I want you to announce the seeds of these teams, especially in Division 1 as you go through them.
Okay, I will do that for you, Dan. Just for you. Number 1, Hortonville Polar Bears. And the number 4, Eau Claire Memorial Old Aigs will take to the basketball floor on Thursday in Division 1. Am I doing it right?
Yeah, you're doing a good job.
All right.
There's a reason for this.
Okay. Number 3, Nina. I know what the reason is now. Okay, number 3, Nina. We did not talk ahead of time. But I already know what he's going to say.
We did not. Yeah.
I already know, and I'm happy that he's going to say what he's going to say next. Number 3, Nina Rockets will take on number 2, Hudson Raiders on Thursday. That game at DC Everest, if you're in the Wausau area, go to that game.
That's a great game.
It will be a fun game to watch, and it's a special moment too because you get to watch a McDonald's All-American and a future Yukon Husky and Ali Zabel for Nina. Let me say that again. A McDonald's All-American.
There's not many of them.
There's 12.
Yeah.
One of two in the entire country.
Yep.
And she's one of them. She got her McDonald's jersey presented to her last week.
And she deserves it.
100%. Yeah, 100%. So, okay, Dan. So we've got the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4. Tell us about it.
Chalk. It's chalk.
Yeah. It's the computer.
Yes, and if you look at all of D1, it's all chalk.
All across the board.
Top 4 teams made it to sectionals in Division 1, all 4 sectionals.
Number 1, Brookfield East. Number 2, Kimberly. Number 3, Hartford. Number 4, Germantown. Number 1, Oregon. Number 2, Arrowhead. Number 3, Verona. Number 4, Kettle Moraine. Number 1, Muskego. Number 2, Franklin. Number 3, Kenosha Bradford. Number 4, Kenosha Trumper. That computer math knows something.
It sure seems like it.
We've been telling people for years.
Yeah,
man.
I know.
Years. And they come unglued the afternoon that seeds are released.
Yeah, and
unglued.
When we get to the Marawood Minute, I will bring it up. But just as a spoiler, home teams are about 85% winners so far in the tournament. So the team that the computer thinks should win has won 85+% of the games.
85%.
Yes.
That is astronomical.
Crazy good.
If if this was college or professional and you happen to say, I don't know, live in Las Vegas, you would have retired after 2 days of betting.
Yeah.
On 85%.
Yeah. There's 16 teams left in every division, so there's 80 teams left.
Okay. Yep.
Outside of the top 3 or 4. I think there's 2 6 seeds and a 9 seed left. Everybody else is 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, and it turns out that the numbers don't lie.
It's true.
Numbers do not lie. Who you play in your non-conference matters, but it matters for a couple things. It matters because it makes your team better. Well, let's just leave it at that. It matters because it makes your team better. You play the better teams in your non-conference, you will be better. You'll be rewarded come postseason in the seed process, but you'll also be better, and the better teams are winning.
Yeah, and a lot of fans and coaches really complain about the seeding process. That maybe the 2 and 3 should be switched in the 4 and 5, and maybe, right? But at the end of the day, you are playing on the same size dimension court, 10-foot rims, and the better team wins those games. It doesn't matter where it's at, right? Sure, you want to play at home because your fans are louder, but it's 10 feet high.
Sounds like you just came here from the old Hickory Gymnasium in Indiana, and Jimmy Chitwood is coming on the basketball floor, and you're on the ladder measuring from the rim to the floor. It sounds like something I've heard before. It is true, though. It is true. Division 2, we'll move on. Number 1, Menominee Mustangs, and the number 2 seed, Lakeland Thunderbirds.
Lakeland's in trouble.
Okay. Coming from a T-Bird.
In Marshfield, they're in trouble.
They are in Marshfield. We'll get to our live broadcast schedule. That is a game we are doing live, coming up on Thursday at 7 o'clock. I should also say, because I want to make sure I get these things right, Dan.
And if they win, they're in real big trouble on Saturday.
Well, just like the Hickory basketball team, maybe.
Maybe. Probably.
Let's see here. I'm probably not going to get this right, but
Matt Thompson of the T-Birds.
Yeah, Matt Thompson. Do the games get broadcast in 95.9?
Yes.
In Minocqua?
WMQA.
Say the call letters?
WMQA.
WMQA's very own Matt Thompson will be on the call with us.
That's awesome.
On Thursday on Zaleski.
Matt is a great guy.
Yeah, I talked to him on the phone today. Sounded nice. I've never met him, I don't think.
He's got a good radio voice. Yeah.
Yep. He was at his regular job, he said, when he called me.
Yeah, you and Matt will really hit it off.
Well, I still got to figure out if I'm going to the gym.
Okay.
I mean, probably. It's my home gym, so probably. Number 1, Notre Dame. Number 6, Green Bay Southwest. On the bottom half of that bracket in Division 2. Let's see here. Division 3, how about the number 1 seeded Wittenberg-Bournemouth Chargers making it through, and they will take on number 2 seed Freedom Irish.
That's a good game. I think Wittenberg is maybe swinging above their weight right now. Freedom is going to be a really tough test. Who's on the bottom of that bracket?
It's Xavier and Winnicott.
Yeah, Xavier, Freedom, all teams in that Northeast Conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wittenberg has their work cut out for them, but they have a good chance. Okay.
We continue on talking about girls basketball and the brackets that we see and that you see us on. Number 1 seed Fall Creek is Division 4, sorry if I didn't say that. Number 1 seed Fall Creek and number 3 seed Regis Ramblers. Number 1 seed McDonald Catholic and the Max. And the number 2 seed Philip Walkers, who got past Cameron in overtime, 79-73, to earn their trip to a sectional semifinal tomorrow. In the other bracket in Division 4, the Neilsville Warriors are the 1 seed, and they will take on the Westfield Pioneers as the 2 seed right north of here at Stevens Point Area Senior High School.
Yeah, Westfield Pioneers, they have the Pioneer restaurants in Westfield.
I've been there before.
Yeah, we
just once. It was fun.
Growing up, this isn't a back in my day uphill
all right,
place,
old man.
right?
Let's have it.
But growing up, we used to travel quite a bit up to northern Wisconsin, and Westfield wasn't more than just the restaurant. There was nothing else there, but now it's all built up. But it's the Pioneer restaurant, so I don't know what the history of all that is, but yeah.
New Glarus and Cuba City on the bottom half. Dan, I'm checking our audio here because I might have a wrong button hit somewhere here. It's like me to hit a wrong button every now and then.
Yeah, New Glarus is really good. Are they the Spotted Cows? Because they should be.
I mean, maybe there'll be some sort of renaming effort. I know that they've renamed some teams here in recent times, so maybe. The Cuba City Cubans,
also very
that
good.
is true. Yeah. That is true. Also very good. Yeah, a lot of folks are high on the Cuba City Cubans.
Yeah, I might have picked them in our brackets. I'll have to see.
Remember on Seinfeld, gonna hire some Cubans.
You have to hire.
Or no,
Cubans.
go get me Cubans.
Yeah, not
right?
the Dominicans because they roll them too tight. Right.
Good stuff. That's Division 4. In Division 5, it is Athens and Pittsville at Merrill. Number 4 seed Athens, number 2 seed Pittsville. So we had a number 1 seed Pacelli fall on Saturday.
I will be there.
Dan is on the call. Athens and Pittsville in Merrill. When's the last time you were in Merrill?
At the gym? It's been a while.
Yeah, okay.
I'm hoping to be there next week again.
Let's see, on the bottom half of that side, number 1 seed Lena, number 3 seed Wabeno Leona. And on the other half, number 1 seed Clear Lake. Boy, I got to get this right because we were talking about this the other day. Turtle Lake, we were talking on the boys' side, but on the girls' side, the Turtle Lake Lakers, but I think it's also the Clear Lake Lakers too. Boy, I'd have to, you can double check me on that one. It doesn't matter, neither here nor there. Number 1 seed Clear Lake, number 3 seed Turtle Lake, and number 9 seed Gilman. And number 2 seed Owen Withy at Stanley Boyd. Joe Anderson on the call on Thursday. Again, I'll go through this whole schedule. Yeah, Owinethy. Yep, it's still Winethian. And then during the season, Dan, these are both Clover Belt Eastern teams, Owen Withy and Gilman. During the season, I'm using rough numbers here, Winethy outscored Gilman by about 50 points during the regular season in their 2 matchups.
Yeah, Owen Withy is pretty happy to see this at sectionals. Just guessing. Oh,
the 9 seed?
Yeah.
Yeah, and a team that we've had our way with. I mean, they've outscored them bigly.
Yeah, I actually picked Owen Withy in the bracket to make it out a long time ago. I don't think it's a real strong sectional, and Owen Withy again plays in a good conference, and yeah, I mean they are in position to be in position, as they say.
Dave watching from Bowler wants to buy my hockey jersey.
Balla.
Dave, it's a personalized jersey, so
that's
good.
Nice.
Good luck. It is nice, isn't it?
Nice.
Yeah, it's something I'm working on right now. Also in Division 5, number 1 Assumption and number 2 Lord's Academy. They play at Oshkosh West, which is only a couple blocks walk for the girls from Lord's. But the Assumption Royals say, "Have ball, will travel. We will meet you there. Don't care where it is." Apparently. Yeah,
that should be a good game. I'll mention it in the Marawood Minute, but the Royals they have to be favorites in that one. And I haven't watched film on Oshkosh Lords. I have heard that they're pretty good, and Assumption does have a kryptonite. If you can break the press and if you can score against an aggressive zone, you're going to be in really good shape to beat that team. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, and we're not, I shouldn't even bring this up because we're not going into X's and O's today, but breaking the press, it is difficult. To me, Dan, the key is to slow down and don't let your mind get ahead of your body when you're bringing the ball up the floor.
Yes.
All right? Just take it easy. 10 seconds. You got some time. Anyway, that's...
And even if you get 10 seconds, it's better than a live ball turnover.
Correct.
That leads to a layup.
Yeah, they're inbounding and then they're in their half court. We can defend the half court.
Yes.
Better than we can giving them a wide open layup.
Yes.
Okay. No, I don't know that many understand that though, Dan.
Yeah, it's true.
We've seen it in person, but that's the whole idea. On the other side, it works so well because you speed them up. They make mistakes. They're throwing the ball before their brain is caught up with what's going to happen.
And Randolph fell into that trap.
Yeah, a lot of teams fall into that trap, as it turns out, on the girls' side in particular. Number 1 seed Albany Monticello and number 3 seed Sheboygan Christian. So those 4 teams will, 2 of them will win, converge at Hartford Union on Saturday.
That is a long trip for Assumption.
A long trip for somebody.
Probably by Milwaukee.
For us, too, it'll be a long trip. So there you go. Those are all of, again, there's many more teams and brackets out there.
Sweet 16.
Some of which we don't associate with, but we're getting down to it. Two games left before the state tournament in Green Bay next week.
Yeah.
For the girls. Thursday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Okay. That's some girls updates. Anything else you want to talk about with the girls basketball?
What's the best thing you saw from girls basketball this past week?
The best thing I saw?
Does anything stick out to you? I will say I watched a lot of the Athens Pacelli game.
Okay.
it's tournament time, right? And there's not a lot of close games, especially on our network, right? Because we follow good teams and they tend to take care of business.
Yeah.
But that Pacelli Athens game was physical. It was athletic. It was. I think Athens surprised Pacelli, and I think that Pacelli didn't. I don't think they were ready for how big Athens was on a one-day turnaround, right?
Yeah, Friday into Saturday.
Yeah.
Yep.
Athens plays a 1-3-1. They got 6-foot-tall girls, and they're not the best basketball players. I mean, I think that they're volleyball players first and foremost, for the most part, right? Very athletic. They do enjoy the game of basketball and they play it well. But Pacelli was a better team all year, I would say. But they had not seen anything like Athens this year, and it really makes me think of how difficult of a turnaround it is when you have one day, right, from Friday to Saturday, and a lot of times athleticism just wins those games.
I guess the thing now that I'm thinking of this and remembering is also from Saturday, and it was in Division I, Eau Claire Memorial and Spash. It was the 4 seed and the 5 seed.
Yes.
And they played down to the final second in that game. So again, we started the show with our theme, the numbers are right, so the math is right on these seeds. And that 4-5 was an absolute doozy.
Yeah.
Stevens Point had ball in hand, coming out of bounds. It was coming out of a timeout, I think. Sideline out of bounds play, got the ball in, launched a 25-footer. That, from that distance, so we're talking 15% chance of going in. And the shot was actually blocked by a Memorial defender. The whole thing happened right in front of the Stevens Point bench. And Coach Janelle McCarville didn't believe many calls were going her way for the entire game. And when the foul call didn't come in that last shot scenario, Coach was very upset about that. She thought that there was a foul. It happened right in front of her. The officials were hearing nothing of it. The thought that ran through my mind, so congratulations, the Old Abes. They've moved on into sectionals now, back-to-back years, is I don't know, and Coach McCarville has played high school, college, and professional WNBA basketball and other professional basketball, all at the highest levels.
She knows the game.
For her entire career. She does know the game, and I'm telling you right now, she's been on the other side of that, where the officials aren't making a close call with the clock running from 3-2-1.
I tend to really side on the officials on not making the whistle, letting the players figure it out, unless it's really blatant. And I didn't see the.
It wasn't blatant. It wasn't blatant. It was a contested shot. Was there some physical contact? Maybe.
Yeah.
But I know for sure that Janelle has seen physical contact in closing seconds, and there's been no whistle. And the expectation, I think, is there's probably not going to be a whistle there.
Yeah, I mean,
it was. So for me, outside of it was very exciting to watch.
Yeah.
Spash Panthers fans, members of the family team, not very happy when they left the gym, and I understand why. I don't blame them for that. So it was a good game. I enjoyed watching it, and I get to say that because in the end, it doesn't matter to me who wins.
Yeah, and again, there's not a lot of close games, right? We are getting to the time of the year where there are a lot of close games, but
things could tighten up.
Yeah, I still saw a lot of 20 to 30 point games.
There certainly were on that regional final day. Okay, girls basketball. Put a bow on it for actually, Dan, let's go ahead. Since we're talking about it, we can't put a bow on it yet. We'll put a bow on it with this, our Thursday broadcast schedule.
There's a lot of games on there.
There are too many games on here. And this you can see at ZaleskiSports.com, the games that are for Thursday. Also have some social media posts helping to get your Thursday organized today on Wednesday, because it's a big day tomorrow. You win that game, you're one game from state.
Yep.
It's a big day, big game. And the teams that are on the losing end of it, aren't going to feel so great heading home on Thursday night.
Yeah, and a lot of people that follow the brackets think that sectional Thursday is the best day of basketball
Usually
in the
it
entire
is.
season.
Usually it is.
The Saturday games have a lot of blowouts generally,
Yeah.
because again, you have a real quick turnaround, and the better teams win Saturday of regionals, and the better team wins the Saturday of sectionals, because you just can't implement anything in one day. Especially if you win Thursday, you're beat up, you're on a high, and you can't do a whole lot in that one day. Like it's just the athletes just aren't able to do it.
Yep. And the other thing we run into to go along with that is the geographical mismatches.
Yeah.
Right. We're in that part of the bracket now where one team is coming from way over there, one team's coming from way over there, and whichever way over there has lesser quality basketball usually.
Yeah, yeah. What conference you play in, what area of the state you play in really matters. The kids aren't used to traveling 2-3 hours to go play a game.
It's going to be a hike on Saturday.
Yeah, they're just not used to it, and it's weird, and there's pressure during the season. There's not a lot of pressure on these games, right?
Because you always have another one coming up.
Yeah.
Now you don't.
Yeah. And Saturday you're playing to go to state. Like everything is on the line.
This is it. It's something, if you get to go to state, it's something you get to have for the rest of your life.
Yeah, in the pregame, the lights turn off and the big spotlights come out, and it looks like you're at an NBA game. It's great. It's awesome. Fantastic.
It is.
Yeah.
So here's the Thursday broadcast schedule. All games tipping off at 7 p.m. Set your calendars now, or synchronize watches. Right?
Yeah.
Do people do that anymore? 26 and a half hours from now. Eau Claire Memorial is playing Hortonville at Eau Claire North. So Memorial gets a drive just a couple of miles to the north side in the doghouse. Hortonville is going to travel across the state, and I don't think the Polar Bears care one bit.
No, Hortonville is really good this year.
They sure are. Lakeland and Menominee playing in Marshfield. Westfield and Neelsville playing in Stevens Point. Gilman and Owen Withy playing in Stanley. Athens and Pittsville playing in Merrill. And Lourdes and Assumption playing in Oshkosh. That is six games for the price of one for you, which is zero.
Forever free.
Forever free.
Yeah, so that Lakeland Menominee game, they played last year in the sectional final, and it was very controversial.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because Lakeland scored, and the clock started late, and they scored at the buzzer, and they went back, and they're like, yeah, they started 2 seconds late, but, like, the time is what it is, you know? And, yeah.
Nothing to do about it at that point.
Lakeland went to state.
We don't have review in high school hoops.
Yeah. And Menominee is, they've had that thing circled. I will say that.
Okay, that's a wrap on the girls' action from last week and upcoming games on Thursday. That's tomorrow. Again, synchronized watches 26 and a half hours from now. 7 p.m. tips on Thursday.
Have you ever had 6 sectional semifinal games for the girls before?
No.
No way.
No. Every day it's a new record around here.
Yeah.
And it's not something that we ever put a goal on. Like, we never sat back here and said, you know what, next year we want to have this. Supply and demand.
Yeah. And what I will say, and I know you don't go into the finances of it a whole lot, but the WIAA does charge quite a bit of money for each game.
$250 per game. So we're in it, for $1,500 on Thursday.
Yeah. Plus paying the staff, right? So
Yep. Travel cost, payroll cost.
Yeah. So because people come up to me all the time and they say, hey, is it possible to cover this game in the playoffs? And we have a canned answer that says yes, but we need help paying for it, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're watching and if your boys are still playing and they're playing Saturday or next week and they're not generally on the network, it's not a no, just need help funding that.
Yeah, as an example, if you're a business owner in Athens right now and we contacted 13 of you yesterday and only one responded, and you look around and you ask, why isn't Zaleski Sports at Athens events?
That's a big reason.
That's the answer. One of 13, that's not enough, Dan.
We're
happy for the one. And I should say, M&M Bakery in Athens. Let's just talk about that.
Yeah.
M&M Bakery stood up. They're only open a couple days a week. All the other 12 are open, Monday through Friday, regular business hours.
Yeah.
None of them wanted to do anything with their Athens girls basketball team on Zaleski Sports. Very disappointing. But M&M Bakery, pizza fries are big at M&M Bakery. You're going to find out. Dan is going to tell you about M&M Bakery on Thursday, but what you should do now is get a hold of the folks, so you can find them on Facebook, M&M Bakery in Athens, and tell them thank you for Zaleski Sports, because they're helping to make it happen.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's Pittsville businesers that are helping
coming
with that too.
Out of the everywhere.
Yeah.
8 or 9 of you. You're going to have a lot of Pittsville to talk about.
Love it.
On tomorrow night. Yeah, all the fine supporters in Pittsville.
It's going to be a really good game.
Yeah.
I don't know who the favorite would be, right? Probably Pittsville because they got a lower number in front of them, but But we're talking CWC South against Marawood, right? Like it's a thing.
It's a difference maker there too. Yeah, coaching will go a long way, I think, tomorrow.
I mean, Athens beat the CWC champ.
They did. They
So,
did.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, and we will see. 7:00 tomorrow.
Yeah,
You'll be there.
I'm excited. It's gonna be a good one.
Boys basketball. So we opened up boys basketball playoffs last night. We had 5 or 6 games on the network last night. We've got, I think, 13 coming on Friday. I know.
Okay.
It's remarkably silly.
Jason has to go to the store and buy cameras and laptops.
I'm gonna have to go somewhere. Maybe just hide for the night. But so some scores from around the area. We talked about this last week, so I want to be fair here because we saw some rather putrid first round scores last week in girls regional quarterfinals. The scoring margins were as lopsided last week as they were last night for the boys.
For the most part.
I'm going to say that right off the bat. We had some single-digit scores reported on the girls' side last week. We didn't have that for the boys this week. There were a couple 13s turned in, and some others in that. I see a 19 as I'm looking here.
Yeah.
So there were some teens, and that's never enough to win anything. So I still wonder why we're driving across the state to go and lose by 40 or 50. We had running clocks and the whole.
I told you my
It still doesn't
idea.
make any sense.
I told you my idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea. But nobody will ever listen to it though.
No.
Because everybody gets to be included. Okay.
Hey, there was a 13 seed that won last night. I don't remember who it is, but there was a 13 seed that won.
Okay. Well, that is unique. That would have been the only one. That would have been the only one system wide yesterday. We had an 11 seed. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit.
Yep.
A number of teams though in the 90s. Madison La Follette, Madison West, 98-93.
Oh.
The underseed, the lower seed won. Madison La Follette was the higher number, and they
was that like a 15-18 or
98-93. I'll when I look at the brackets. Remind me because I'm just looking at the score sheet right now.
I know number one South Shore won like 104-58 or something.
So are you
crazy
thinking
like
of Solon Springs?
Or Solon Springs, yeah.
Yeah, so that's my next point. So all the scores that we had, some in the teens, others respectable. But yeah, Solon Springs crossed the century mark at 103.
Yeah, a 16 seed scored 50-plus points.
50. They would have won other games with that point total in the state last night. But Solon Springs, some have them favored to win the Division V state championship. You come out and you score 103. Is that a statement?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, I mean, obviously we have no idea what went on in that game. Like, I don't know if...
Didn't watch 2 seconds of it.
They were playing Prairie Farm. I don't know if Prairie Farm even played defense, and if they didn't, kudos to the coach for trying something against the 1 seed, right? Try something.
Dave tells us Lacrosse Logan went to Shawano. That's a long road trip. It won 52-50. The Loggers, or Lacrosse Logan? Oh, something like that. Their logo looks like Davy Crockett, so whatever that is. I can't remember all 500 of these mascots, man. I want to.
Yeah, we need a database with them or something so that we could...
Well, just somebody up here holding some cue cards for me. That would be helpful. They could just jot that down right away, and then I would just know it as soon as we started talking about it. But we'd have to.
That is a long trip, though.
We'd have to have a production meeting, and it would be an all-day affair to get ready for the show.
It becomes really professional. And
Ain't nobody looking for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Okay, so let's. We'll go through some of the brackets.
Yeah.
The Rangers. The Prentice tells us they're the Rangers. It looks like Davy Crockett.
What does Prentice know?
I don't know. He could be wrong. It wouldn't be the first time.
I like the Loggers.
Yeah, it looks like a logger kind of, but it looks more like Davy Crockett.
Okay.
So in Division I, it was Chippewa Falls, big comeback win south of here in Wisconsin Rapids. They were down by some substantial margin and had a comeback, and so they move on. And they will play my Marshfield Tigers on Friday night. So it was our first kind of a play-in game, so to speak, for that one. And in the other such event, it was Holman hosting Appleton West, and Holman 73-49. They will play just north of here at Stevens Point High School on Friday. So now both Stevens Point and Marshfield know their first-round opponent, or their regional semifinal opponent. So that part of the bracket got filled out. On the other half in Division 1, Green Bay East, the 17 seed, fell to number 16 Green Bay Preble 83-47. So Preble now gets to go on and get beat by the De Pere Redbirds on Friday. I mean, listen, they're really good. They've lost one game in 3 years, back-to-back state champs, and a lot of people considered De Pere to be the favorite again this year.
I am one of them.
Okay. I saddled up with the Nina Rockets. I strapped on the astronaut helmet. I did. Yeah,
I like
did.
that.
I did.
To win all of D1?
Yeah. Yep.
They're what, a 6 seed?
Oh, no, I didn't. I picked them just to win that side of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I've got De Pere as champ.
Sorry. That's bold.
Sorry.
That is bold.
Sorry.
I appreciate the boldness.
No. Nina to go to state as a 6 seed. Yeah. Here we are, Madison West, Madison La Follette. That score I mentioned earlier, that was 16-17. And the 17 seed La Follette will take on Kettle Moraine on Friday. These are Division I regional quarterfinal games. I called these out because there weren't very many. Let's see, Racine Horlick over Kenosha Tremper as the 18 seed. They will play number 2 seed Milwaukee Hamilton.
Good luck.
Yep. And West Allis Hale, the 17, got past Milwaukee Riverside 83-73, and they will get beat by Marquette University High School on Friday.
Yeah, Division I has these they're not really playing games. They're first round games.
Quarterfinal games, but there's just a couple.
Yeah, and the seeds are really tight, right? So you have 15 against the 18, the 16, 17. Mm-hmm. So they're good games.
Very interesting games.
Yeah, they're good games. And it's Division I. There's not a ton of blowouts in Division I. Even the next round won't have.
On Friday there won't be. No. They'll all post. Usually they post up respectable scores, and they're within 15. 20 points. It would be something that's a little unusual. In Division 2, and then again, this is much like the girls.
I'm looking forward to this game, actually.
These are teams that we have normally surrounded ourselves with during the season. If we're not mentioning your team, it's you're on the border somewhere. You're on Lake Michigan or something like that. But even that's becoming closer now, within reach for us. Lake Michigan.
You're in the forests of northwestern Wisconsin.
The Chequamegon National Forest. Let's see, Merrill. Is this one you want to talk about? Merrill Blue Jays over the Ashland Ore-Dockers 57-45, and the Jays are going to take on the 1 seed Wausau East Lumberjacks Friday. Tom King on the call here on Zaleski Sports.
Yeah, and both coaches are friends of the show, right?
They are.
Troy at Merrill. And
well, and Tom, calls games all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Troy's a friend of the show, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And he has this March Magic thing with his team every year, where they always play the best basketball right now.
It's good coaching then.
Yeah, I mean, does a great job with that program. Obviously, Coach Garrett at Wausau East is on a magical run all season, it feels like, and they deservedly got the number 1 seed. Now they get a chance to defend it. Now it's put up or shut up time.
I'm going to take a peek here. Those teams should have played during the season twice. Yeah,
East swept them.
They did. Okay. Well, I'm just going to pass along some scores of those games.
Sure.
And we will take a look at ZaleskiSports.com for those scores. That's where you can find them too. Those of you watching at home, wondering what I'm clicking around on here. And here we go. Merrill, 73-38. Wausau East at home on December 15th. And then they went on the road 70-62, so it tightened up as the season went on.
It did.
And now you're thinking it could be something interesting on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, Wausau East is probably the heavy favorite, but I bet you that's a game pretty late.
Okay.
It's the Merrill magic. I've seen it the last couple of years. We saw Merrill beat Mosinee, I think, 2 years ago.
Yeah, and I think they were flattened twice by Mosinee that year as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy.
Rhinelander got past Hayward. They will take on the 4 seed Rice Lake.
Good luck.
In that quadrant. Yeah.
Rice Lake's pretty good.
Yeah, they probably are. And New Richmond will face the 6 seed Medford. Medford's 65-50 winners over the 11 seed Anago, the Red Robins.
We're going to see a lot of Big River schools trounce some GNC schools this week because it's just the strength of the conference. It's the teams that you play all season.
Number 2, River Falls had the bye, and they will play number 10 seed Menominee as they beat the 7 seed Lakeland Thunderbirds 60-40. What happened, do you think, with the T-Birds last night?
The Big Rivers is better than the GNC.
All right. Easy
What
enough
else
to
can
say.
you say? Yeah.
Yep.
You lose by 20 at home to a seed that's lower than you. It's the quality opponents you play all year.
Number 1 seed West Salem had the bye, and they will play number 9 seed Lacrosse Logan, the Davy Crockett's, that beat Shawano 52-50, as we heard about just a little bit ago. The 4 seed Alaska, the 5 seed New London are on byes. They play on Friday. Number 3 seed Mosinee on the bye, and they will take on the 6 seed Seymour, who beat number 11 Toma 67-45. And the Fox Valley Lutheran, number 2 seed, will play number 7 seed Lacrosse Central. 91-49 winners over number 10 seed Sparta.
Yeah, Mosinee, I don't want to say they're on upset alert, but Seymour's a good team. They're a good program historically.
Well, and I think historically, I'm talking the last 5 or 6 years or so, Mosinee, I think has learned enough on some of the postseason challenges they've had where they're not taking anybody lightly.
It's good.
It's not looking past anybody, I don't think.
The bad news about that is if Merrill wins, they get Fox Valley Lutheran the very next night.
Tough
That's
game.
Tough
game.
on a one-day tournament.
Yeah, on the road, over in Outagamie County, I believe.
I mean, we are assuming teams win and stuff, but
Yep, projecting. That's what we're allowed to do on this side of the desk.
yeah, for sure.
Yep. Coaches hate me for it. Number 8 seed Amherst, moving to Division 3, number 8 seed the Amherst Falcons took down the number 9 seed Northland Pines Eagles.
Comeback.
Right?
Yeah, it was a comeback.
43-35. That was a game we had on the network last night. Jack Rozicki was on the call. Comeback, you say? I didn't catch any of that one. I had some other games.
Well, I was
keeping
watching
track
a
of.
Division 5 local game here, and Steve Maves was giving us updates on it.
I was on my way back from Colby. I'll talk about that game in a little bit because there are some things to talk about. Let's see here. Number 5 seed. So Amherst is at Freedom on Friday. If I didn't say that, number 1 seed Freedom. Number 5 seed Wittenberg over number 12 seed Tomahawk 75-33. They play the bye waiting number 4 seed Wapaka Comets.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Friday, 4 and 5.
Wittenberg, Wapaka. We'll have to see what Mike thinks about that game.
I believe he told me earlier he felt pretty good about the Comets, but when does he not?
That's true. Yeah. his comet glasses.
Comet-colored glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so into Division 4, I had the fun opportunity of going to Colby last night. I found out a little closer to game time that the game was moved from 7 to 6, so I had to kind of hustle over there.
Yeah.
But hustling all night on the basketball floor were the Colby Hornets, as the 8 seed Hornets took down the number 9 seed Crandon Cardinals 91-60.
That's a fun game.
It was. Hornets really controlled from minute 2 on. They fell behind 6-0, couple early threes by the Cardinals, and then Colby just too athletic, too fast for the Cardinals anyway. Yeah. But problems ahead for the Hornets, Dan, as they will travel to Marathon for the 2nd time this season, take on the number 1 seed, my state champion pick, Marathon Red Raiders.
All right, so find the score of that game while I talk about this a little bit.
Very good.
So Colby coming out of the Clover Belt, which is a pretty good conference. The top half is generally pretty good. And Colby wasn't in the top of the conference and more in the middle. But Crandon playing in the Northern Lakes Conference, again, they're playing a lot of Division 5 schools, Three Lakes, Elko. It's not the same. It just isn't.
It's really not. That was on January 2nd. And Marathon at home, 81-46 winners over Colby. Yeah. So they've got to find nearly 40 points to do the Hornets.
And Marathon's rested and ready.
Yeah.
Coach Jacobson in attendance last night, I saw.
He was. Yeah. He was taking some notes, keeping score. I put him in the highlights.
Good.
I mean, you got the night off. Go and take a peek and see what your opponent's going to be like. I talked to Coach Jim Flink, Colby Hornets head coach. You can see that on the highlights. Those highlights are on Facebook at Zaleski Sports. We talked about Marathon, and I asked him, what do you think Coach Jacobson saw from your guys tonight? And he essentially said probably the same thing he saw when we played them earlier. It's probably not a whole lot. He's like, and every coach, I guess, would probably say this, but we've got to make our shots to have a chance.
Yep.
And he also mentioned we need to find a way that we weren't able to, and I'm not sure how yet, but we got to find a way to defend Grant Warren. And he admitted he didn't know how.
Well, no one has so far this year.
Okay.
Ask Coach Weinfurter.
Max says Marathon is too good. Oh, they're really good.
They are
really
very
good.
talented. They are my Division 4 state pick over Darlington, turns out.
Okay.
Little spoilers for those people.
Found out last night that Farathon, though, not very good. Unknown at this point in the year. Spell check, or the auto spell thing.
Yeah.
It took it as Farathon.
Is Farathon a word? Like, I was like, oh, Farathon. Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever heard of. The Garantula is too big, says Max.
He is big. He is.
Yeah, big and talented, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm not mentioning in the Marawood Minute, so I'll mention it now.
Okay.
I was in attendance last Thursday night for Auburndale Marathon.
Yep.
And Grant Warren set the school record, 43 points. And he didn't play the last 6 minutes of that game.
Could have had a 50 burger if he really wanted. Yeah. A score that came in very late. Matter of fact, I don't think this was reported until this morning for some reason, probably because it was in Washburn. But number 5 seed Washburn, 72-34 winners over the 12 seed Abbotsford Falcons. And that means Stratford, as the 4 seed will host the 5 seed Washburn Ball Club on Friday night.
That is intriguing. That's an interesting game.
Well, a lot of people want to talk about Washburn.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him play.
Yeah, I haven't either. I did talk to Coach Jacobson, maybe off the record, but nothing on here is going to be controversial. He really wonders how teams can handle that long trip, right? Mm-hmm. And knowing that Stratford's really good, but Washburn has a very gaudy record. They have more than 20 wins this year.
Yeah, score a lot of points too. Yeah.
But that conference, again, not that strong.
Right.
So you have, and I don't even know if they won their conference. They might have taken second to Solon Springs, probably.
Could be. Yeah.
So you have a team that plays in a conference that's very top heavy, but the floor, the bottom half of that conference, is really not very good.
Yeah.
And you're going to go on the road 3+ hours, whatever it is, from Lake Superior
on a
to
bus.
Stratford.
It's a long ways.
On a bus, and you're going to play a Marawood team that finished 3rd or 4th in the conference. Mm-hmm. And what if they win? Are they driving back to Washburn to come back the next night to Marathon? I don't know. Those are interesting questions.
That's a good question.
Like, there's no way you drive 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours, right?
Are you offering a bed and breakfast at the Ross Manor?
Hey, if they want to sleep on couches and the floor, like, have at it. My dogs would love it.
Reminded that the Castle Guards of Washburn, I called the Castle Guards in a sectional semifinal soccer match back in the fall. And it was a long way for them to drive to Arcadia that day.
Yeah, so. and I mean, here's the thing. Now Stratford and Marathon have a score comparison because both of those teams played Abbotsford this year.
Yeah.
And it looked like Washburn running clocked them. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to compare scores because it is what it is. It's not against each other, right?
But it gives you some bit of information.
Yeah.
Some bit.
And it looks like it might be a close game. It's a 4-5 game. I think Stratford takes care of business, but who knows? I mean, they're a wild card in this whole thing.
A lot of those Marawood coaches, Dan, had talked to me, offline, and had thought our formula was wrong on the seeds because they thought Washburn was a 2 or 3. And I said, no, they're a 5, and they laughed at me. 5.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Honestly, it wasn't that close.
It really wasn't. No, it really wasn't. It was pretty clear.
Yeah.
In the bottom half of that same bracket in Division 4, the number 3 seed Edgar Wildcats, nice group of football players, they take on number 6 Iola Scandinavia as they took down number 11 Shawamigan, 64-53.
Closer game than I thought it would be.
Okay. Number 7 seed Phillips, the Loggers, got past 10 seed Spencer Rockets, 65-60, and they will now travel to Auburndale, another Marawood matchup. The 2 seed Auburndale Eagles await Phillips on Friday.
I think a pretty good bet that we're going to have Marawood Saturday night
this week. Yep, an all Marawood final. Okay, moving to Division 5. We already mentioned Solon Springs coming out with authority 103-57 over 16-seeded Prairie Farm.
160 points in a Division 5 basketball game.
Yeah, so it's pretty tough to do. Let's see here. Rib
I
Lake.
wonder if we can find footage of that game.
I can make a call. Number 1 seed Rib Lake, 79-24 winners over Butternut. And I give you $5 if you know the Butternut. Are they the midgets?
I think they used to be.
Yeah,
Ask Jags. He's
something else now.
He's a Butternut alum.
I think they might still be the midgets. And then let's see, 10 seed. Am I stealing your Marawood minute by talking about these Marawood scores? Okay.
No.
Number 10 seed Athens got past number 7 seed Prentice. Both Marawood North teams, right? 58-46 over there. And everything
That's
else.
a little bit of an upset, I would say.
Everything else on that side, pretty much chalk up and down. I didn't really immerse myself in this. Pacelli scored 94 points against Gresham.
And they get the upset winner, Newman Catholic Cardinals.
Well, the upset winner and defending state champion, Newman Cardinals, on Friday.
I think the only players left in that team from last year is coach.
Could be. Could be.
Yeah, I mean the Newman guys, they obviously were on the bench watching it, and they're state champions as well.
They've got the hardware.
Yep.
Division 5, Sectional 3, Columbus Catholic, 88-22 winners over Cooley Christian Providence Academy in La Crosse. That's a big name.
That really is.
Number 9, Loyal on the road at Pittsville, 8 seed Pittsville. Loyal takes it 63-36, so you get version 3.0 in Marshfield Friday night. The number 9, Loyal Greyhounds taking on number 1 seed Columbus Catholic, Cale Jacoby on the call. So
Advantage Columbus Catholic.
Yep. Let's see here.
Who else is in that bracket that is going to give Columbus Catholic fits, you think?
How about the Plum City Elmwood Wolves? If they shoot like bonkers, they got to get past Cochrane Fountain City. That's on the bottom half of it. Boy, who else? I don't know much about Royal. But people talk to me about them. They did beat Greenwood 76-13 last night, the 2-15 game. Royal people talk to me about that team. I see Port Edwards down here. I know it's totally different rosters, but you and I walked in at halftime on a regional final in Marshfield a couple years ago, and Port Edwards came away with it in the end. So
it's true.
Man,
that place was rocking that night.
It was fun.
It was really good.
Yeah, it was fun. I don't think anybody. Again, I don't know anything about Royal, but what I do know is Columbus Catholic, I think, gets through really easy.
Yeah, the bottom half of that bracket, I think, is Potosi.
Potosi and Cashton, the 1-2 down there.
Yeah, I think Columbus Catholic is in really good shape to make a run.
For many, Dan, I mentioned just a moment ago, for many, the best game in the state last night from a viewership and entertainment viewpoint standpoint. A game that we had, of course, number 6 Assumption, number 11 Plum City Elwood. Topsy-turvy first half with teams going one way, and then all of a sudden the game's going back the other way. We get a three-pointer with 5, 6, 7s left to tie it. Assumption ties it. Clock runs. Elmwood Plum City did have a timeout. They didn't burn it. They come down the floor. Kid hits a runner in the lane at the buzzer, win it.
Yeah, and it looked like it went in with maybe 2 seconds left, and that's something that I want to ask you about.
Okay. Should the clock have stopped? Is that what you're going to ask?
Well, why the NFHS rule says it doesn't stop, but why not?
Well, we don't follow the other NFHS rules around here.
Yeah. So that's my question, right? Coach Paltz had no timeouts left. Yeah. He had to burn a lot of them late first half.
Yeah, the team was in foul trouble of sorts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then had to call some timeouts late. Plum City, Elmwood missed a bunch of free throws down the stretch.
Yeah, they sure did, didn't they?
So they were helping out the Royals and hit the big 3 from the corner, and the place is going nuts.
Yeah,
right?
Loud.
Yes, and kudos to Plum City because they got the ball out of the net, inbounded it immediately, and sprinted down the floor.
Never hesitated.
Nope.
And this was all coming out of a timeout.
Yes.
All right. This was coming out of a timeout, the 3-point play, and then the inbound. So there was some instruction probably given in the huddle from the Wolves coaching staff. Here's what we do on a make. Here's what we do on a miss.
Yeah. If he misses it, make a darn free throw. right?
Right, because it was a 3-point. Elmwood Plum
Yeah.
City up by 3 coming
Yes.
out of that timeout. So
Yep.
if it's a make, well, worst case, we're going to overtime.
Yeah.
Probably the talk in the huddle.
Yep. But yeah, they inbounded it to their kid. He scored his 37th and 38 points at the buzzer. I mean, it's just it was a great game, and those are the kind of games that the Assumption Royals aren't feeling great about it today.
No,
Right.
probably
Obviously.
very lousy. Yeah.
But gonna look back on this and say that was a really good experience, right? Our fans were loud. It was crazy. It was a great game, and we were 2 points away.
We were right there.
Yeah.
We were right there.
It was a great game to watch. I thought that Steve Maves did a really good job calling it, especially at the end. We always dream about having these buzzer beaters, right? Because
Yeah.
we do all these games, and there's so many running clock games, and there's so many games where you're talking about other games on the network because it's 84 to 30.
Trying to keep your audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Didn't have to keep the audience last night.
did not have to. It was a really good game, and I think that Coach Paltz is going to walk away from that saying, you know what? We played a lot of freshmen and sophomores last night and all season, and we're going to really miss the seniors, but man, that team is going to be loaded for the future. They really are.
Okay. We'll go through our Friday schedule, then it's time for the always popular Marawood Minute. On Friday, here's what we have on tap for you. Again, it's way too many games. This is ridiculous. Loyal at Columbus Catholic, Newman at Pacelli, Wild Rose at Almond Bancroft, Chippewa Falls at Marshfield, Wausau West at Kaukauna, Appleton East at Eau Claire Memorial, Brookfield East at Brookfield Central, Merrill at Wausau East, Seymour at Mosney, Amherst at Freedom, Wittenberg Burnhamwood at Wapaka, Colby at Marathon. I'm going to go broke, Dan. Let's now move to today's Marawood Minute, sponsored by Midstate Technical College.
How did we get two Brookfield schools in there?
They're matched up with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, another intra-conference version 3.0
Yeah.
down there. Matt and Elijah on the call on Friday over in Brookfield Central.
Yeah. This week's edition of the Marawood Minute brought to you by our good friends at Midstate Technical College.
Great friends.
Yeah. Jason,
Hey, that's me.
this is the best week of the year.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Girls sectional and boys regional week. Lots of basketball. There's nothing like regional semifinal Friday. Nearly every team is playing. I think I talked to you on the phone about this. There's so many games on sectional semifinal Friday.
Over 200.
Yeah, so many games. And then you're sandwiched around girls sectional semifinals on Thursday.
Yeah.
And then everybody plays Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's fun for us too as a broadcast team. We are at a sectional final at 1 o'clock, and then we're sprinting somewhere else to get to the 7 o'clock tip-off for the boys. So
Yeah, it's
fun
actually
for us too.
it's a logistical nightmare, right? Because you can't have people drive 2 hours. Because what if the game goes long and you want to get there early? Yeah,
We got to sort some things out on Thursday night.
that's true. All right, girls' side, we gave out some hardware. Right, you
Okay.
get regional plaques.
You get a plaque, hang it in the wall down in the gym or somewhere.
I like some of these schools. You walk in and they got regional plaques like just down the hallways, as far as you can see. Yeah, it's great. Assumption not challenged in the regional rounds. 3 laughers shows how good the Royals can be. Athens, as predicted on this show, by
You
yours
did.
truly,
You did. Yeah.
upset number 1 Pacelli to win their regional championship.
Yep. I had Pacelli at state in the statewide picks.
Kale picked them to win state, I think, or something. I
Well,
don't know.
Kale doesn't know much.
They're playing their best ball at the right time. So tall, so athletic, creates a lot of trouble for opponents. We're like, they have girls that are 6 feet tall, which it's like, okay, yeah. But a lot of girls basketball around here is like 5'4" and 5'7".
Yeah.
Like, it's tall, right?
Do they all dye their hair the same color, or did this just kind of happen?
I think it just
I don't know.
happened.
Girls dye their hair though, so I don't know.
Yeah, they all look very similar. If they weren't wearing jerseys, it'd be really tough to call their game.
Well, it's even tough too because the ponytails cover the numbers often, so it's really tough. Yeah.
It's true.
Good luck tomorrow.
Yeah. Phillips needed overtime at home to win the regional championship over Cameron.
Yeah.
Gotta love how Phillips scores the ball, right? Lots of high-scoring games. Eggerbrecht, I think, is going to Eau Claire next year.
Good place.
Yeah. But it's really hard to blow out a team that can score a lot of points.
Yeah, they're scoring 70. What do you got to get to 90 to blow them out. That's not going to happen.
McDonald Central might, though.
Okay.
All right, so Sweet 16 matchups for the girls.
All right.
One Assumption travels to Oshkosh to play Lords. Tough matchup. Game depends on how Lords breaks the press and able to zone on or score in the zone, like I mentioned earlier. Athens travels to Marawood to play Pittsville. Pittsville also high pressure team.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and they won't be outsized. Pittsville won't.
Right.
And I said earlier that game. I think all the way it will ultimately be decided by coaching. I think.
Yeah. Athens shows that 1-3-1 with long arms, and that's something that Pittsville hasn't seen. But again, Pacelli had 1 day to kind of study for it. Pittsville has ever since Saturday. So Pittsville's going to be ready for that.
Yep.
Phillips travels Ladysmith, take on D4 favorite, McDonald Central, who running clocked everybody on the way to sectionals.
The Max.
Yeah. They have an interesting maybe sectional final against Fall Creek, I think. And
That's how it would line up, yes.
And Fall Creek, McDonald have history, even this year. Fall Creek's beat them.
Oh, I thought you were going to say.
Or they split maybe this year.
I thought you were going to say, because every now and then a Bulldog will eat a cricket. All right.
That's not what I'm saying.
Defending champs, McDonald Central, just not this division, but still state champions last year.
Division 5, yeah. All right, boys, time to say goodbye to some of our teams.
Sad times.
Pour one out for Abbotsford, Shawamigan, Prentice, and Assumption. Game of the night went to Assumption Royals, right? Tying 3 with 10 seconds left, runner to win. And then we've already talked about this, but man, if that ball goes into the net under a minute left, stop the clock. It creates more drama, right? It's for the viewers, or they're watching this, right? The people in the gym right now, if a ball goes through the basket with 6 seconds left, the officials don't start the clock right away. They just let the ball roll away and walk off.
Some of the folks that are against the shot clock say that the clock operators are not skilled enough to run a shot clock. So I suppose then those same people are saying that they're not skilled enough to stop the clock.
Yeah, they can do it. I guarantee it. All right, prediction time.
All right, this is a big one here.
Yeah.
Because you've been on kind of a heater, kind of.
Well, here, like actual heater, not so much.
Yeah.
Saturday games: Marathon versus Stratford. That's my prediction.
Okay.
Auburndale versus Edgar. Rib Lake.
Not really going on a limb there either.
Well, I'm not saying. I'm just saying these are my predictions.
Okay.
Rib Lake versus Owynnethe.
Ah, okay. Blackhawks. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to have 2 to 3 Marawood teams playing at sectionals this year.
That's fun. Fun when it happens because it's pretty intriguing basketball.
Yeah. One more shout out as we finish up.
Okay.
Let's appreciate computer seeding.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Girls side, the higher seeded teams went 327 and 49. That's right. 87% of the home teams won their games.
That's really good. Really good.
And the computer picked 85% of the teams left at sectionals in all divisions.
Yeah. I'm not surprised, but some people are.
I'm not surprised either.
Some people probably just turned the show off when you said that because now they're upset they aren't right. Yeah.
In divisions 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 3 4 seeds, 2 6 seeds, and a 9 seed.
That's it.
Everybody else is a 1, 2, or 3.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So statewide.
Yep. The boys last night 135 and 24 for the better seeded teams. 85%.
Commanding.
Yeah. Incredible performance by the computer.
Yeah, but the computer's really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
If you want more stats like this, check out Marawood Minute next week. We'll do it again.
Okay. Look forward to it.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah. All right. Excellent. Let's see. The Department of Errors and Omissions has contacted me during the Marawood Minute. In Division 4, the Neillsville Warriors, winners as the 7 seed over number 10 seed Melrose Mindoro, a game we had on last night. Yeah. 71-53. The Warriors now go down to La Crosse Luther on Friday. 7 o'clock tip time.
I was just thinking, like, if there's an errors and omission team, like, they're really busy. The smoke's flying over here.
Yeah, well, it's the only. This one was on the top. I didn't read the next 52 errors and omissions. This was just the top one. So there we go.
Also, you know what? Sad news.
Uh-oh.
The Turtle Lake boys lost.
Yeah, it is sad. Now, why, Dan?
Yeah.
We're ending with this. Dan, it's your big moment. Tell them why this is sad.
So behind the scenes, we wanted to do something special in the coaches show this year, and we wanted to bring attention, viewers,
Yep.
to some team that's outside our area, right?
Yep.
I personally picked Turtle Lake Boys.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was like this machine off in the corner, and you roll it, and there's all these ping pong balls in there, and the one that popped out was Turtle Lake.
Turtle Lake.
Yeah.
So I tried to reach out to the Turtle Lake coach on Facebook and Twitter and everything else I could possibly do.
Yeah.
I emailed him, did everything I could.
Yeah.
He didn't hear from him.
Show happened on that Sunday. Days
yeah.
later, but we hadn't heard
Yeah.
from Turtle Lake.
Yeah. Monday morning,
The next day.
yeah, he comes back to me and he says, "Oh, I'm so upset. This would have been fantastic for my boys. It's been great for the community. We know who Zaleski Sports is. We are aware you guys are in the gyms. You guys do an awesome job. I would have loved to have been on the show to talk about my team." And then they got upset by the 13 seed last night.
So next year, Coach.
Next year.
Next year. Now we know that we need to email him weeks ahead of time.
Well, we're Facebook friends now. So,
well, even
so
better.
he said, "Hey, now that we're friends, then
Yeah.
then we can talk leading up to it." I'm like, all right.
Okay.
So Turtle Lake coach will be on next year.
Next year, Lakers. Next year.
Yeah.
We'll have you then.
Probably for the better because they did lose the 4-13 game. Biggest upset of the night.
Yeah, and we would have asked him specifically about that game. And oh man, what a time to be alive!
But he seems like a great guy. So we'll see him next year.
Next year, Lakers. Next year.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
All right, wrap it up. This is Dan Ross. I'm Jason Zaleski. Thanks for watching, everybody. Games again, game schedule, ZaleskiSports.com. Have a great night.